Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1982 Detroit Tigers season replay. Right now we are going to do the end of June standings and league leaders video. We just finished off the month of June and we've actually had a pretty solid month. We went 20-7. Probably our best monthly record since we've been doing this sim this is the third season. So a 20-7 record for June, we'll take it. We finished off with a nice victory today in extra innings. But let's get right to the important stuff, which is taking a look at the standings for the American League. We have a 6-game lead over the Yankees and 8.5 over Baltimore. Everybody else in this division, I'm going to go ahead and just count them out. Milwaukee has definitely showed some resurgence since their first really month of the season, where they lost like 13 out of the first 14 games. So it's nice to see them get back in it, but Boston, they suffered a lot of injuries. They're done. Toronto, I can't even believe that they have more wins than Cleveland. They have no pitching staff whatsoever. Their ERA is the highest in the American League. And Cleveland, although they've showed up pretty well against us, they suck so bad that they're actually pulling up some of their minor leaguers. Let's just take a look real quick at Baltimore. Maybe we can eliminate them. They have also suffered a lot of injuries this year. We're going to switch over to right-handers. And you can see here listed as John Castino tired. Let's take a look at their injuries. Nobody injured as far as starters go for the lineup. And this is all they have for pitchers. Everybody here that you see in the majors, and then 6 single-A pitchers. Boddicker, done for the season. Jeff Rainier, this guy gets called up from single-A to pitch, and he gets injured for over a year. Palmer will be back in before the end of the month of July. So, looking at Palmer here, fitting back in this lineup, they will probably, move Don Welchel maybe to the long relief spot. I mean, they still have a really great starting staff, but they cannot afford another injury. So, Baltimore, I mean, I'm not going to rule them out, but they definitely have a problem with their pitching. And we'll take a look at the Yankees. We've seen this team a lot. They traded away Brian Doyle to give Ivan De Jesus the everyday shortstop position, and that hasn't panned out at all. Pretty horrible. I mean, why isn't Rupert Jones in there more? I mean, Don Mattingly, didn't they lose their first baseman? Yeah, Rick Leach, batting .325, out for another month. And they switch Dennis Worth from the DH to first base. He's batting .203. You've got Rupert Jones here. I mean, bring up Don Mattingly. That's insane. Ozzie Smith has one more day. He'll be back from injury. And Johnny Oates, man, we haven't seen him in forever. Look at his rating, down to 57. So that guy is probably on the verge of retiring. Again, why is Don Mattingly is not in this lineup? I mean, I'm not rooting for that. It should be that way. But I'll take any advantage I can get. And if they want to put a 203 hitter at first base with his terrible defense, I'm not going to stand in their way. But their starting pitching should be better than what it is. They traded for Scott Sanderson. So with their 2 youngsters pitching well, not as good as they have in their first 2 years of their career, they still got Gator, Ron Guidry, pitching well, Sanderson and Milt, former Tiger. And looking at their bullpen, I mean, kind of not that great. I mean, Kirk Kaufman has 20 saves. Who the hell's Kirk Kaufman? Why isn't Goose the closer? I don't know. Anyway, I just want to take a couple moments to look at the 2 teams that are still in contention, as we are at the halfway point today. We're at 81 games. We have the most home runs in the American League, just one more than Milwaukee. Our stolen base percentage still not at 60. We're the worst at that. Our team ERA in the American League is number 2 to Baltimore. And our batting average, we know that's not our strong suit, especially with Andre Dawson playing almost every day out of necessity. Let's take a look at the West. Now, this is the team I think to beat. It's Kansas City. They have one more win than we do, two less losses, and their team batting average is .310. And let's take a look at them real quick here. Everybody in this lineup is batting .300. George Brett finally coming down to earth a little bit, batting .386. He was over .400 almost up until the last 2 weeks. Rance Molnix, I believe, is also number 2 in the American League. And then Willie Wilson batting .330. Don Slaught, the catcher, a good hitting catcher in real life, batting .312. Willie Mays Aikens, .313. And then even their bench is hitting really well. I mean, pretty impressive. Look at Gary Hancock. They can't use him anymore. And he was batting .310 when he got sent down. Butch Davis. And they're not suffering any injuries, at least with the batters. So, I mean, looking at this lineup, this is a team. I'm sure George Brett is leading in all 3 categories, batting average, home runs, and RBI. So he's probably a Triple Crown candidate. Let's take a look at their pitching real quick. Dennis Leonard, 12-4. And then just a bunch of schlubs. Steve Busby threw a bunch of no-hitters in real life. But all of these pitchers, except for Rich Gale, their careers were over by 1982. And Mike Paxton comes over from Cleveland, and he's got a 7 ERA. I don't know how this team is going to hold up the rest of the way. But they don't really have much competition with Seattle's 8 games back. They're all stolen bases. That's what they do well. California was in the doldrums. They're back over 500. And then basically the rest of these teams are out of it. We're going to see Texas next. Only our second National League West team that we have played this season. So we're going to start July out versus Texas. And I feel good about getting off to a good start in July. The National League, just to take a look here real quick, we have Philadelphia 1.5 up on the Cubbies, which are like mostly Tigers cast-off players. St. Louis still in it. Actually, there's still 5 teams in it. I mean, every team but Pittsburgh, who we just stole Bert Blyleven from. So they're out of it, but everybody else is still in it. And then look at this. Holy cow. Cincinnati making, they're wheeling and dealing still to improve even more if they can. 55 wins, the best record in baseball. Houston, who won the World Series last year, right, in this game, 12 games back already. Everybody else is out of it. So they're just playing for posterity or draft picks, depending. Let's go ahead and take a look at the league leaders. We're going to move on to the leaders here. And here's the American League. Excuse me. Sorry, allergies, folks. Taking a look at the American League batting average, George Brett and Rance Molnix. How many Kansas City hitters are on the top 25? Brett, Rance, Willie Wilson, Willie Aikens. Pretty solid. Almost 25 batters still batting right around the 300 mark. And some odd names in there. Rance Molnix is odd. But Greg Luzinski batting 335. What? Spike Owen, Neil Fiala, Rick Bassetti on Toronto. I like seeing that. Jim Wilson's not even in the majors anymore. Jim Wilson is now down in single A, and he was going to be Rookie of the Year, I think. And you can't tell me Cleveland can't use him. Maybe the worst record in baseball, right? So just taking a quick look down the rest of the list there at these players with Sticky Mickey third, tied for third in the American League with Luzinski, the Bull, and Spike Owen. Spike's nickname is Spike, right? You can't make up another nickname. Okay, let's take a look. Again, we're going to kind of do this quickly. Oops. And I'm just kind of curious on some of these things. At bats, Mickey Hatcher up there. Lou Whitaker hasn't missed too many games, but Oddibe McDowell leading in batting average. As we fly through this, obviously you can just go ahead and pause it if you want to take a longer look. No Tigers in doubles. We just started hitting doubles this last series versus Boston, but Alan Bannister with the Baltimore Orioles, here identified with the Indians, the Guardians, has 28, followed up with Willie Wilson and Rance Mulliniks. Garth Orge right up there. Harold Reynolds having a good season for Seattle as a young player on that team. All their players are young. Odie Davis, we're going to see him with Texas. Pete O'Brien. Interesting. Pete O'Brien is up in the majors for Texas. Can't wait to see some different teams to finally mix it up a little bit. Who's grounding into the most double plays? No Lance Parrish. That's because he strikes out all the time now. Parrish was right up there with grounding into double plays, but Biff Pocoroba, maybe the best name in baseball. Say it out loud, people. Biff Pocoroba. 21 grounding into double plays. Pete O'Brien up there. Steady Eddie. And a bunch of catchers. People like Weiniger, Hasse, Ray Smith, Pocoroba. A bunch of catchers leading this list, as you might expect. Okay, let's see. Extra base hits. We're going to do all the hitting first, and we'll go back and do pitching. Extra base hits. Rance Mulliniks. Look at that. And there's no surprise that you're going to see all Kansas City and Baltimore right here at the top. Now, remember, I went ahead and I manipulated the ballpark effects based on my own mathematical equations. So, I think that definitely affected the Kansas City ballparks, and which is why I am glad, as you look at the games played here, with Carl Pagel playing in every game thus far, which is why I'm glad to see Kansas City and specifically George Brett under 400. I would hate to have unrealistic numbers based simply because I goofed it up by maybe not carrying up the one or something. Hits overall, George Brett, 122, way ahead of everybody else. But Mickey Hatcher, right up there with 106 hits. Easily a career high for him. Mike Brown of California, I believe he is an outfielder. Yeah, he's a right fielder for the Angels. And Bump Wills. We're going to see some of these Texas players coming up. Hit by pitch. Who has been hit the most in the American League? Wade Boggs. Crouching over the plate. Carney Lansford. Randy Azador. We got a couple of Tigers players in there. Notably the Brock Ness Monster. And I did change his nickname on the title, on the player card. Brock Ness Monster right there. I did that for all the players. As always, if you guys come up with a good nickname for any players, for or against the Tigers, if it's funny, I'm gonna add it and I'm gonna use it. So feel free to come up with your own shtiff. Look at this, Ron Kittle leading the American League in home runs with 17. So we're at the halfway point. 34, 35 home runs, not a ton by today's standards. But I'm glad to see some power up here. George Brett, not winning the Triple Crown just yet. Danny Tartabull, youngster, not even in the majors in real life, only 19 years old with 16 home runs. Kevin Mitchell, Rookie of the Year last year, following up with a solid sophomore season. Willie Mays, Steve Lubertich, Rusty Kuntz, what? Greg Brock, right up there with 12, leading the Tigers. And, Tom Brookins has 11 home runs. What the hell is that all about? Look at 779 OPS. That's 147 points higher than with Detroit. And he's injured. Good job by him. I gotta give him some props. All right. Intentional walks? Anybody? Oh, a lot of Tigers on here. Henry Cruz and Ron Kittle. That must mean they have some weak players around them. Hatcher, Sweet Lou, Kevin Bass has two. So, Terry Lee of Milwaukee. He only played that one game against us. Did we intentionally walk him twice? That's probably what happened. I don't know. Let's take a look at on-base percentage. That's nice to see that there's still 5 players over 400. We don't really get that a lot in this game, for whatever reason. Rickey Henderson, as much maligned as he is, he does walk a lot, and we gotta give him that nod at least. Defensively, outfield assist. Let's see. Rickey's down there with 3. I think 2 of those are in left and 1 was in center. But no surprise here. Lee Mazzilli he's a Gold Glove winner. He's got 9. And Richie Zisk, come on. He was a Gold Glove winner last year. I mean, I had a Richie Zisk Little League mitt, and I can tell you I was a terrible fielder, so he should not be up there. On base percentage, so this is the OPS. George Brett still over 1,000. That is awesome. And Mickey Hatcher doing his best to contribute. I always like to see if there's any names that stand out that I haven't seen before. Dave Engel, Mike Hart right down there. A couple of guys who must walk a lot. We'll find out when we get to that. Plate appearances. I mean, Alan Bannister, 370. We're going to do pitchers. Don't worry about that. RBI. Let's take a look at RBI leaders. George Brett with 83. Holy cow. That's, 16 up ahead of his own teammate. So that's a deadly duo right there between Brett and Rance. They should dock like 15 RBIs just for being named Rance. Harold Reynolds from the leadoff spot has 58. That's incredible. Paul Molitor, he missed some time and still up there. Ricardo Sainz, the rookie, or the youngster, I think he's like 19 or 18. Oh, he's up to 20 years old now. Up there with RBI. Mickey, 47, leading Detroit. Biff and Paul Dade for Toronto. So Toronto's represented. Okay. Let's see. Runners thrown out. Let's see what the catchers are doing here. Lance Parrish has 21. And the leader is California's Brian Harper. I don't recall him being a defensive catcher. Ed Putman, former Detroit Tiger there. Lance Parrish, how many has he thrown out? Let's take a look at fielding. He's got 71 stolen bases against and 29%. Somebody do the math for me real quick. Hey, at least his defensive range and defensive WAR have both become positive. They were negative earlier. So he's maybe starting to come around defensively. He ain't doing anything for us offensively, other than getting some doubles, which is weird. I think he leads our team in doubles. Bobby Ramos checking in at 3. Here's the percentages. Wow, Brian Harper, almost 40%. That's pretty impressive. Charlie Moore, good defensive catcher way down there. And anybody else? I mean, none of these other catchers I would ever consider to be good defensive catchers other than Charlie Moore. Ernie Witt. I guess it's the 2 bottom ones that are surprising. And Lance was a good defensive catcher, even though he's not in this game. Runs scored. 4 out of the top 5 are Kansas City batters. That's unbelievable. Going down the list, here's Sweet Lou. He's batted in the 1 spot. He's batted 7, 8, and 9 this year. But he's among the leaders at 45, and he'll probably stay at the top. He's not hitting righties, though. That's a bummer. I don't care about runs created. Sacrifice hits, we know this is Mark Wags. Yeah, there he is. 8 at the top there. And Rickey and Allen have contributed. Guy Solars, Sweet Lou at the bottom there. Good job by Mark Wagner. I hope he finds a job next year. Sack flies, Paul Dade of Toronto has 7. Andre Dawson has 4. He had the big home run in today's game, or earlier. Slugging percentage, 611 for George Brett. Impressive. Seen a lot of the same names here as you might expect. Let's take a look at stolen bases. This is the big one here. Omar Marino, 42 stolen bases, leading the American League. How many times has he been caught? 42 out of 46. That's pretty good. Gary Pettis, 27. Romberg, Willie Wilson, Rusty McNeely took over the center field role for Rickey. Odeby McDowell, Harold Reynolds, Joe Simpson. That's what Seattle does. They run a lot. You see Dave Edler right there. Lachelle Tarver. We didn't see Lachelle Tarver at all in the series against Boston. I don't know if is he injured? I guess we can take a look. No, he just didn't play. Tommy Brookins, come on, Tommy. We have Rickey at 18. He's 18 out of 36, which is pretty horrible. I think Gibson's 10 out of 18. And I don't see Henderson getting to 40 this year unless we are so far ahead that we can just steal just for the fun of it. Yeah, I mean, he's not even on the top 25 in percentages. That's pretty pathetic. Okay, trips. Rick Bassetti, Doug Lohman of Milwaukee, both have 5. Rickey's got 4. Gibby's got 3. Shooty Babbitt is on there. Jerry Turner, hey, a Cleveland player on there for something positive. UL Washington walks. So Rickey, 3rd place with 46. Carl Pagel, Gary Renicky of Minnesota, Mike Fishlips. I called him Fishlips and he hit a grand slam. I don't know if you remember that or not last season. That came back to bite me. Dave Bergman, always taking a pitch. And Greg Brock down there. If I played Brock more at the top of the lineup, I think he would probably score a few more runs with those walks. Okay, let's take a look at the pitchers real quick, and then we'll look at the National League, and we'll get this over with. Let's start with complete games. Oh, you son of a bitch. He's got 7, leading the American League. We'll see California, I think, before the end of the month. Rick Langford, I looked into trading for him. None of these other names on here really. This Eric Wilkins, he wasn't even in the starting 5 for the Indians this year, and they got in there due to injury, and has performed. He's the best starting pitcher on that team, give or take. However, John Denny's doing. Check out the rest of them there. So, complete games. Let's take a look at ERA, of course. So Matt Keogh, Riley Keough's uncle, right? That's who that is. 2.30 ERA. That's really great. That's actually really, really good. Not bad after a career of mediocrity. Good job by him. Roy Branch, a cup of coffee pitcher in real life, but actually pitching pretty good for a Seattle team that might be in contention. There's Frank Tanana. Then Dave, we've got Stefan Weaver and Jack Morris, Denny El Presidente Martinez, Alan Ramirez, Roger Slagle, and Teddy Higuera. And you see the rest of the contenders. Wow, look at this. The top 25. The 25th is 459. Well, I wonder why it's so high. It's not like we're hitting more home runs than normal. Okay, games pitched. This is all Tigers. Yeah. This is why we're sending... we are rotating pitchers down. Weaver's down now. He'll be down for another 8 days or so. And then once he comes back the day after the All-Star game, I'll send Dave Rucker down. It's possible that Weaver and Rucker could make the All-Star team. They've pitched so well. Otherwise, Mark Clear of California is leading the non-Tiger category. Grounded double plays induced? Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Jim Clancy throwing a lot of ground balls, letting a lot of guys get on base. No Tigers with our great infield ratings. Plus, I think Tiger Stadium is like 107 or something like that for grounding in the double play. So it should happen more often, but that's not what our pitchers do. Hit batters. Who's plunking the most batters? Ron Guidry. 6 hit batters. Tom Candiotti doesn't have the knuckleball yet. Steve Busby. Still a bunch of schlubs. Dave LeManchek in there. Charlie Huff. He's a long reliever, but he's got 3 hit batters. Home runs allowed. Who's giving up a long ball? Holy crap. Larry McCall of Cleveland's given up 33 home runs at the halfway point. He's going to Roger Maris it. Bill Paschal of Kansas City. It's got to be that ballpark. Steve Busby's given up 17. Rosey's given up 13. He gave up 3 in a game not too long ago. That will get you on the board. All right. Innings pitched. Yeah, no Tigers on here. Some of these teams have a 4-man rotation. We go with 5 religiously. We'll reshuffle our 1 through 5 at the All-Star. At the All-Star break when everybody has a few days off. So we might come out of the break with Bert Blyleven taking over the number 1 role. I don't care about this stuff that much. Quality starts. We got Jack. We got Dave. Both with 11. Stephon Weaver leading the American League with 15. I don't care about the saves. We definitely care about saves. So we have 2 Tigers back-to-back. You might expect that with Dave Rucker, who's 13 out of 13 in save opportunities, and Weaver is 11 out of 12. So pretty solid there. And you can see that Kirk Kaufman is leading the American League with 20, and he's not good. Tom Henke is on our list of pitchers to trade for with 15 on that last place team. He would probably not get the closer's job for us. He'd be a setup man, but next year that would probably be his role. Let's look at shutouts. Yeah, Jack's got one. That was opening day against the Yankees. And I think we've pitched a team shutout since then. I don't think we've pitched a complete game shutout. Son of a bitch. Got 4. Starts, I guess it doesn't really matter. 20 starts for Luis Leal. Strikeouts pitched. Oh, I didn't see. Did we check out the strikeouts? No, we didn't look at strikeouts for batters. I don't know how I missed that. Danny Tartable leading in 74, and Gibby and Parrish is on there. 2 guys you might expect. Okay, strikeouts pitched. Mark Langston, 119, leading the American League. He did do that in his career a couple of times, I believe. Tanana, Bannister, Bruce Hurst, Guidry, Teddy, John Matlack of the White Sox, Dennis Leonard, and Doug Rao. Jack Morris is on the list with 74. I don't think we will have another Tiger break 100 strikeouts this year other than Jack Morris. And that is something we need to change. Batter strikeout percentage. Who strikes out the least amount? Marty Barrett and Mickey Hatcher's right on that list. Alan Trammell there too. Good to know. Walks per 9. Yeah, Dave Rozema doesn't walk anybody ever. Jack Morris has been okay, giving 3 walks per 9 innings, which is acceptable. Bud Rosey up there against Randy Jones. Randy Jones, the highest paid player in the American League, I think. Well, we can find out. Salary. Currently. Oh, this is overall? What is this? That's confusing. It says American League, but I think this is everybody, right? So, American League, but overall, I guess. So Randy Jones is number 1 in the American League, but J.R. Richard is number 1 overall. And Morris and Trammell are on there, signing new contracts last season. Okay, we're going to wrap this up here, taking a look at wins. And Dennis Leonard with 12. Him and Frank Tanana. Toronto, Luis Leal's got 10. That's interesting for such a terrible, terrible team. So maybe he's going to help them get on the right track. Cotton Candy is on there. Jack Morris and Rosey both have 9. Who will get to 10 first? Morris will get the first shot at it. And taking a long look there at the rest of them. Okay, we are going to just quickly look at the National League leaders here. Johnny Ray leading the National League in hitting for the Pirates in last place. 347 batting average. Terry Poole, Keith Drumright. Look at all these names. It's not like the American League where you're getting some brand names there. You got Mad Dog. Johnny Ray did lead the National League in batting average 1 year, I believe. Gene Richards and Jim Gantner, I guess. Home runs, Gary Reedus. Stolen bases, Gary Reedus. So this guy's got speed and power. Len Matusik got 14. What? 92 power. I don't know. Yeah, this is always a weird part when you get some of these odd names on here. Burroughs is good. Andre Thornton has power. Dave Parker. John Tamargo. Come on. Joe Youngblood has 11, and I believe he's in the minor leagues because they traded for Dave Parker. Yeah, he's in AAA. Dave Parker came in, took his job. He took his job. That's a South Park reference. RBI, Gary Reedus. That's kind of amazing. But Cincinnati is crushing it. They got 3 in the top 10 there. And we will just quickly pull up the important pitchers categories. ERA, wins, walks, saves, and what's the other one for pitchers? What am I? Home runs allowed. Let's look at that. Home runs allowed. So Bob Welch leading the National League in ERA with a 2.16. Mike Krukow. Mario Soto, 239. Charlie Leibrandt, 257 for Cincinnati. Nolan Ryan in the top 10. The leader in wins is Rick Ownby of the Mets. What do you know? With 14 wins, I always like to, at halfway point, I'm like, how many, these all have 10 or more, how many of these pitchers will actually get to 20? Maybe 2 of them, really? I can't imagine Rick Ownby will get there, but he might. Saves is Dave Shipinoff of Philadelphia with 19. He is their closer, first-time closer, and I'd never heard of this guy before, but he's getting the job done. 19 out of 19. Bob James for Montreal, Mark Littell, Alejandro Pena, Bedrock, Jay Howell, Jesse Orozco, Joe Sambito. Gene Pence, this guy was a Detroit Tiger originally, and has 10, Al Holland. And homers allowed, Don Sutton on there, Scott Sanderson, now on the Yanks. And you see some of the ones there. So, okay, I guess that's going to do it. I don't know if there's anything else anybody really wanted to see. I always like to try to keep the video under 30 minutes for these. I find it interesting to see who the leaders are as the season goes along, but you never really can tell with injuries as they occur throughout the season how it's going to affect the standings. Certainly Baltimore would be in it more than they are if they hadn't suffered so many pitchers' injuries and then traded away their future because I think of their contract to Randy Jones, who hasn't done jack poop for him. So at any rate, that's going to do it for today. We're going to come back tomorrow. And, actually, let's just take a look at this real quick. Looking at July. So we have 3 home games versus the Rangers. Then we got to play the damn Brewers once again. And then we have the All-Star break. I haven't decided if I'm going to do the All-Star game live or not. I did last year. It was a lot of fun. It takes a long time. I wish there was a way that I could do it where I could interact with everyone kind of in real time, but it's so hard to do that. But I don't know. I'll think about it. We've got some time. Got another week here. And then by the end of the month, we should have Dan Petrie back. He's back in 23 days. So we'll see him around the Orioles series. So we're going to see the Rangers. We're going to see the A's. And then Kansas City at the end of the month. We're going to face maybe our playoff foes. Okay. That will do it. We're going to come back tomorrow with the first game of the Rangers series. Until then, everyone, have a great night.